Hello friends, welcome back to Fitness for Gamers and Streamers. This is actually day 7, so we've got a full week of content, which is pretty good. Today I want to focus on mistakes I see beginners make when they're trying to build muscle. So I see this a lot on Twitter, on Discord, and also just in the gym in general. So bear with me. So the first mistake I see is people obsessing about the most optimal routine they can possibly do, and people spend absolute hours worrying about what's the best routine to do. They'll research it, they'll ask people on the internet, it's never mind, we'll talk about that later. But people would rather worry and panic and research lifting and the best optimal routine, as if there were one, rather than actually getting into lifting and doing it. So there is no real true optimal routine. People want to try to save themselves 10 years in lifting and do it in a year, and that's just not going to happen, I'm afraid. Instagram has deceived you with that. You're not going to suddenly blow up overnight. There's not some magical routine that'll do it for you. So get into a practical routine. Doesn't really matter what you start on, but as long as you start doing it, you can do an upper-lower split, I like. You can do a full body routine. You can go straight into a traditional bro split if you want. But it doesn't really matter as long as you hit the main movements. If you hit the main movements for upper body push, upper body pull, upper body that's vertical and horizontal for each, a lower body pressing, a lower body hinge, you'll go 90% of the results. So fit that into your routine and you'll be absolutely fine. In a similar vein, I see people worry about supplements, what supplements to take before they start lifting, which is putting the cart before the horse entirely. You don't need supplements at all. If you want to take whey protein, you can. That's not a problem. If you want to take creatine, that's one of the most proven supplements you can. I've never taken it myself, but that's something that's been proven to be safe to take. And then I recommend a cod liver oil or krill oil, something like that. But supplements are not going to do the work for you. They're not going to make a massive, massive difference, I'm afraid. People want to have the best pre-workout. Unfortunately, all the best pre-workouts were banned a few years ago, but they still had the good stuff in it. That was pretty much speed. Supplements are not the main focus. They supplement what you're already eating and doing. Do not worry about supplements at all. Same one for diet. People want to have the most optimal diet. They want to have a completely gain zero fat. They want to lose fat instantly. Just get started, focus on healthy foods, get some protein in, eat some vegetables for goodness sake, eat some carbs, not bad for you, eat some fats, essential for your body's function, and just get started. Adjust as you go. Unless you start, you don't have any data to work with. You don't know what's going to work for you. So get started. Don't worry about getting absolutely perfect to start with. Just get going. On the other side of it, I think another massive beginner mistake I see on Discord especially is beginners who have trained for a couple months, who want to go in and design their own program. They think because they've been lifting for a few weeks, they can just create this fantastic program that's going to reach their goals again. They're going to suddenly create this optimal program they've been looking for, and it's always terrible. The number of times I see people posting, "What do you think of this routine I put together?" And it's awful. People just don't understand the basics of programming, and that's okay. You don't have to understand it. There's nothing wrong with following a generic, basic workout routine. Or getting one from a coach is the best thing to do. Of course, I'll say that, but it is. You, as a beginner, are not in a position to make the decisions to know what you need. If throwing exercises you want, that's absolutely fine. You don't have to have a fixed routine if you don't want to, but if you want to make progress, you should be working with a basic routine, something that's been shown and proven over time, or something given to you by your coach in particular. You are not in a position to make your own routine because you just don't have the knowledge for it. You don't know what you need. You can't assess your own weaknesses. You can't assess your own strengths. And it's just simply not going to work. That's the least optimal thing you can do. Well, that's not true. The least optimal thing you can do is not start at all. But the second least optimal thing is to think you've suddenly cracked the training code after been lifting for a couple of weeks, because, spoiler alert, you probably haven't. And I suppose the opposite side to that is people wanting to follow famous bodybuilder's routine. Everyone wants to follow Chris Bumstead's routine. What you need to understand is that Chris Bumstead is a particular individual. He's incredibly genetically blessed. He's also worked incredibly hard. And he's also on certain supplements that you are not taking currently. That's not to take anything away from him. He's a fantastic athlete, and there's a reason he is such a famous bodybuilder, and he is massively successful. But you cannot simply copy and paste his routine or his diet or anything into your routine and expect the same results. Same for, there's a big resurgence in the Arnold split, what Arnold trained with. Stop idolizing what these bodybuilders are doing and realize that you are not yourself a bodybuilder. What works for one person doesn't mean it'll work exactly for you. That's why you shouldn't just copy someone else's routine precisely. There's some personalizing part of it, okay? And if you're not on supplements that bodybuilders are on, you should not be attempting to copy their workout anyway. That's ridiculous. Which is why it's difficult when you get fitness advice from people on Instagram and TikTok who have suddenly, gained 50 pounds of muscle in a year. If you copy their workout and you're not taking their supplements, you are not going to get their results. Their results are not from their crappy workout that they're doing, believe me. Another mistake I see, asking random idiots on Discord or Twitter or pick a forum what to think of their workout, what to do. These people aren't verified, they're just idiots who probably aren't any more experienced than you, they're just more confident in your responses. So don't just blindly take advice from people who don't know anything. The internet is full of people with lots of opinions. It's probably people who've been lifting for a few weeks, who have made their own routines, who think they're geniuses and they've cracked the code when they haven't actually achieved anything or spent any time actually training themselves or other people. So don't just take advice from random idiots online. That probably applies to me as well. But make sure you get your information from verified sources, at least someone who has trained and has trained other people and knows what they're talking about. So many people want to give advice and chime in with things they heard, and you'll get third pieces of information that's been passed down and got wrong and twisted around. There's so much misinformation in fitness, so don't just take a random person without a profile picture or with a profile picture of some statue as this God-given fitness expert, because odds are they're probably not. And then for the final part is mistakes trying to build muscle is people avoiding cardio entirely. Yes, cardio will burn some calories, but the benefits you get for your heart, for your lungs, and your capacity to work hard in your workouts, you can't miss out on. So I always recommend people doing at least 20 minutes of zone 2 cardio, 2 or 3 times a week at least, a minimum. Because when your body is better, you're in better cardiovascular shape, you can push harder in your working sets, you can actually do hard working sets, which means you can spend less time in the gym because you're getting more effective volume, and also means you can recover faster and you generally feel better, okay? You're not going to be burning massive amounts of calories, and if you keep it zone 2, you're not going to be tapping into your recovery. In fact, you'll be investing in increasing your recovery capacity. So that's my thoughts on beginner mistakes I see trying to build muscle. That's all for today. I've still been Chris. Thank you for listening, and I'll be back tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.